Season 2 is right upon us, and yes, I will be covering this DLC because like you, we all pre-ordered this game, alright? So we're going to be covering it, but I will say this, we have a number of guns in our vault right now, and they have not said shit about vault space. I'm assuming we're probably going to get a small, minute expansion within our vault, and the rest of it, man, is just survival of the fittest. Which one of these guns is the best to even be in this thing? Now, let me go ahead and say this. I'm going to count down the weapons for vendor weapons, such as our factions, our banner weapons, and of course, our trial weapons. I'm leaving everything off the list because, at least from my knowledge and what I've been told and also what I've read, is that weapons that are going to be returning to us from banner, factions, and trials will be returning with maybe different roles, different perks, and maybe even different weapon slots, as in your steady hand cannon with your iron banner may actually be in your energy slot. So hey, be looking out for that. But let's get started on today's list. First up, guys, we're gonna be talking about Forward Path. Forward Path, dude, it's good. Aesthetically, it's pleasing. It is the Scathe Lock, but the better looking sister. It's got a lot of things going for it, man. It's got armor piercing rounds on it that's really nice, which really extends that range that's already been tested. And I can tell you right now, guys, overall, this gun, even though it's not the best right now, I think it'd have a great standing, especially if they sandbox tune things to the 600 round per minute archetype. Pleiades Corrector. Now, this is a gun you do not want to get rid of. And I tell you right now, it does take a skilled hand. Not really, but kind of. It takes somebody that's really good at hitting those shots. It's definitely not minded multi-tool, despite the similarities between the two. It is kind of similar to it, and so I do tend to call it the minded multi-tool in the energy slot because it's got high caliber rounds. It's got good weapon handling, only coming second to the minded multi-tool. It's also got a pretty nice bit of stability, good reload speed. A lot of things here that's just pointing to this weapon being snappy, as well as intrinsically having the lightweight perk. Pleiades Corrector is a scout rifle you do not want to get rid of though, guys, because here's the thing, it can already hold its own right now. You might as well keep it. Next up is Adjudicator. Now, a lot of people like Antiope, and I gotta say, I like Antiope too, but there's another version to Antiope, which is essentially Adjudicator, not Sonic. I know some of you are like, wait, there's an actual twin sister to that one. No, this is Adjudicator. It is the Trials SMG, and a lot of things going good for Adjudicator. Essentially, I like to call it the beginner level to kinetic SMG, 600 round per minute version. This weapon right here is extremely good because the biggest fault that lies with Antiope, and even weapons that are similar to Antiope, is the amount of flinch the weapon seems to take whenever you're getting hit, despite its handling being pretty decent. Adjudicator, however, has those weird hologram sights, and so the gun itself doesn't seem to be taking as much heat whenever you're actually taking shots. It is a weapon I have no problems tangling up in 1v1s, even though that happens rarely, but it's a great gun that can get your ass out of a jam. Do not get rid of this gun, fellas. I use it all the time. The Number. Man, this is a gun that I use constantly in the raid. Shout out to Dado. He's the one who figured it out. Or I guess he's the one I saw using it, so I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna try it out. But this gun is not just a PvE gun, fellas. I mean, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of love given to the other weapons, the other auto rifles out there within the meta, and I can tell you right now, the Number holds its own. It is the gun that I am using this weekend for trials, the whole weekend for trials, and that's consistently doing carries, and it's the Number, man. The Number is making it happen. This is such a good auto rifle. I really don't understand why more people don't use it. It has ricochet rounds, which gives it insane range, and it also has high impact reserves, which is not something that's just gonna break the bank in terms of damage, but it gives one extra bit of damage. And so, yeah, I think it's really nice. I think it's a good weapon. It's got better base stats than even something like Uriel's Gift, except for, you know, you don't have high caliber rounds. I would definitely take that Number over a lot of other auto rifles, though. I think it's a fantastic gun and a definite, despite this being halfway through this list, this is not a list where things get greater and greater. This is just a list, and I can tell you right now, do not get rid of this auto rifle. Stochastic Variable. Now, this is a gun that you're seeing gameplay of, which is all the wrong gameplay. This is me actually using it at 900 rounds per minute, and it's still doing a fantastic job. Essentially, guys, I thought this was the way we were supposed to use the weapon until last night in trials. My friend Nightfield told me, hey man, you need to put that sucker on phase magazine. Go ahead and rock that sucker out like phosphorus. Drop that mag, that rate of fire down, and the weapon was straight beasting people. Guys, this is such a good weapon, and it's got a lot of things that are working for it. Stochastic has tap the trigger, which enables great accuracy when you first get that initial pull shot, and of course it's got an extremely good range. It's got good sights on it. It's got phase mag as well to really put it within that competitive art type, or at least the art type that has extensive amounts of range. Fellas, this is a fantastic SMG, one of which I wish I would have covered it when I first got it, but unfortunately I was busy at the time, and so it slipped through my fingers. Next on this list, guys, is Prosecutor. Now, this is the Trials auto rifle, and man, the first review I made this gun, I just went stupid with it because there was no reason for me to even tell people this gun was good. I knew it the moment I started using it from the very first match that it was going to be dominant, and it has remained dominant. It's actually a gun I had to peel from my hands these past few weeks because all of my gameplay consisted of nothing but Prosecutor. Yeah, it got a little out of hand. Now, a lot of things working for this gun, man. It essentially has the hip fire grip, which is not something you're going to utilize that much, but it helps whenever you got somebody that pushes on you immediately if you can keep that reticle on point. It also has tap the trigger, which is why so many people love Uriel's gift, along with high caliber rounds that Uriel's has. But this weapon doesn't have high cal. Now, I keep mine on polygonal rifling. Don't know the stats to it, but I think it works really well. Now, one thing I'd say about this gun, it boasts a very good handling, and also has really good stability, but something even outside of that, I think the gun itself is way more consistent than even Uriel's gift. Despite Uriel's gift being the weapon that so many people refer to and use, and how everybody just flocks that gun as being the best auto rifle, I think Prosecutor, in my eyes, in my opinion, and in my hands, it has always performed better for me. And there's a lot of things just kind of just going back to its base stats, stability, handling, stuff like that. The next gun on this list is a weapon I feel so very sorry for you if you did not get. Time-worn Spire. Now, if you were like me and you were a huge fan of Lincoln Green, but you noticed there were some issues with Lincoln Green, right? Like target acquisition at distances, the weapon itself just essentially took too much flinch when you were taking fire. Lincoln Green was extremely good, but then Lincoln Green had a friend that came along, and she was way better, man. Time-worn Spire, guys. Everything about this gun screams maximum damage, baby. It's also got Zim moment, which is good for keeping that stability, but definitely a weapon I recommend you using a kinetic counterbalance mod on because the gun does have a lot of hop. Now, despite what people may think, this gun actually boasts one of the best time to kill amongst pulse rifles. Again, though, it does require you to land crits, but I feel so sorry for you if you don't have this gun. Next up on the list, guys, is Dire Promise. Now, this gun is actually just as good at PvP as it is in PvE. Yes, it is a good PvE gun as well. Essentially, it's a hand cannon that rocks triple tap. Now, triple tap is definitely not something we utilize in PvP, but the gun itself is so damn good. I would be very curious to see how this gun right here returns to us. As in, if we ever got to see this weapon inside of PvP with, say, something like Kill Clip from the old fashioned, because overall this weapon is a better weapon in my opinion in terms of just base stats. I would be very curious to see how good it can actually get. Before we get to our final weapon, I will give out some honorable mentions. The Trial Sniper is an extremely good sniper, one of which I used for a long time, and also the new Monarchy Sniper. Now, I did not get the new Monarchy Sniper. I heard a lot of good things about it. I heard that it had very limited sway when moving, and so I wish I could have been around that week and actually could have snagged that one. But if you do have that one, definitely keep your hands on that one. Another one I want to mention is Unification 7. Now, Unification 7 is the new Monarchy shotgun. Again, another one from New Monarchy. It is essentially Chaperone, guys. It is fantastic. A gun I would highly suggest not getting rid of. If you are good at landing precision shot and you like to cross map people with a shotty, Unification is great. Now, let's conclude this list, guys, with the last weapon I would say that you definitely need to keep your hands on, especially if the art type changes, and I get the feeling that it's going to change through the higher rate of fire art type in terms of our autos, is the Guiding Star. Now, the Guiding Star has got a lot of beautiful things going for it. Number one, it's in my favorite art type of auto rifle, 720 round per minute art type. I love this fast rate of fire. That's the reason why I like things like Valagadin and things like Sand Wasp. Huge fan of Sand Wasp. But Guiding Star essentially is all those things, but in the kinetic, and it also has some other perks that goes along with it. It has moving target, which is increased movement speed and target acquisition when aiming down sights when moving, and it also has high caliber rounds, and of course I like the Model 8 red sight on it. So guys, this is a fantastic auto rifle, one of which I think the next Sandbox update may be advocating for. Fellas, these are the guns that I would say you need to keep your hands on. Did we make it under 10 minutes? Man, I like to keep everything under 10 minutes. If we got to less than 10 minutes, please slap a like button on this thing. If we didn't, still slap a like button on this thing. Guys, as always, man, y'all have a great day.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.